This video is brought to you by 3, bringing you 4G at no extra cost.
Welcome to our Samsung Galaxy Tab S review. Our reviews are quite in depth, so if you want to jump straight through to a specific part, click one of the links to the left-hand side. Also, if you like the video while you're watching it, you can click that like button and subscribe for more of the same. All that's left to do now is get down to the nitty-gritty of our full review. Finally, Samsung has brought some tablets to market that can compete with the iPads head-on in terms of design. At 6.6mm thin, the Tab S's feel sensational one-handed. The fact you've got a really nice tactility to the plastic backing also adds on that front. It's 37 grams lighter, that's the 8.4-inch version, than the iPad mini, and what that means is for ebook reading, long sessions where you're holding it in one hand or two, it's going to be absolutely perfect. It's available in titanium, bronze and white, and as you can see, portrait orientation by default on the 8.4, landscape orientation in the 10.5, and you should really note that when thinking about what you want to do with these things. Ebook reading, the 8.4 is going to win every single time. If, however, you want something with a fully fledged keyboard that you can type on like you would a laptop, then the 10.5 will probably be the one to go for. The screens are utterly sensational. Quad HD display, 2560 by 1600, or indeed 1600 by 2560 if you've got the 8.4-inch version. Well, pulling closer, you can see the 8.4-inch version has a PPI of 359. That's better than most smartphones out there. Great contrast levels, brilliant, vibrant picture. Blacks are really deep, perfect quality for photos and videos. What's more, Samsung's made TouchWiz absolutely pop. You can see the UI takes full advantage of that perfect performance in terms of color richness. Games look great. 2D titles like Flappy Birds even look phenomenal with those block colors shining brightly. You've also got a few key features such as an adaptive display that compensates for whatever lighting environment you're in, and reading mode to make any text that you read that little bit less stressful on the eyes. In a nutshell, a stunning screen. Inside, it's Android 4.4.2 with My Magazine UX. Now, the Android portion of this, i.e. home screens, notifications tray from the top, and of course your applications, is very nice. It looks great, as we said, very attractive. And of course the functionality is there too. You do get occasional stutters. We're kind of putting that down to the fact you've got a Quad HD display on here. If we pull down the notifications tray though, we can also see you've got S-Find and Quick Connect just like the Galaxy S5. Quick Connect connecting you to both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connections as well as others, and S-Finder locating anything within your tablet. The part we don't like so much, that's got to be My Magazine UX. This is a series of tiles that shows information of very nicely, but its utility is very questionable. You have to manually refresh every single tile. You have to be connected to the internet in order to do so. And what's more, you can't automatically refresh a group of tiles. So you have to press this fiddly little icon in the top right-hand corner of every tile. But that said, if we could switch it off, we wouldn't mind it so much. So hopefully with an update, Samsung will allow us to just turn that feature off. What do we absolutely love about this tablet? Well, it's got to be Galaxy Gifts. Galaxy Gifts gives you loads and loads of content out of the box, including the Deezer subscription for 6 months, free magazines and Paper Garden, and Marvel Unlimited subscription for 3 months, and that's just naming a few. Going back to Paper Garden, this is a really nice touch. Interactive magazines have never looked so good. Between the screen on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S's and of course the enhancements on the digital versions, you really have a great next generation experience. And you also have SideSync for pairing with Android 4.4 Galaxy devices, as well as a fingerprint scanner. Now, the fingerprint scanner is actually pretty cool for a number of reasons. First off, it works 80% of the time. If you set multiple fingers, it works a lot better. Secondly, you can actually set it to multiple users. So if you have a household of more than one user, then you can have completely separate profiles, which works very well. That said, each profile takes at least 500 megabytes with just 16 gig of onboard storage. Get an external memory card so you can throw all your photos and movies if you have a big household. It takes up to 8 users, by the way. All in all, you have stellar value adds on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S range. Mixed up with a varied UI experience, it still makes for a fair few more pros than cons. The cameras on the Tab S are both 8 megapixel sensors with f2.4 lenses and LED flashes. 2.1 megapixel front-facing cameras as well with an f2.4 aperture. All in all, good camera for a tablet. In good light, you get very decent saturation and contrast levels with fair detail. It takes 6 megapixel shots by default, a wide landscape shot. If you want to take 8 megapixel shots, you need to turn on the 6:4 aspect ratio. Macro is strong, tap to focus works well, and detail is fair. In poor light, hold the Tab S super steady and the results are decent. If you move too early, just like with most Samsung devices, blur is the name of the game. The flash also performs very well, much better than most tablets on the scene, and the video also looks good at a smooth 30 frames per second. Autofocus and tap to focus are also applicable in video. You can set one or the other depending on your preference. Your smartphone will probably be better than your Tab S, but in a nutshell, the Tab S is still one of the strongest tablet camera and camcorder combinations out there. The multimedia experience on both of these devices is going to be class leading out of the box. That's largely down to Galaxy Gifts. Galaxy Gifts, just to recap, is going to give you loads of reading content. It's also going to give you music content too. You've got other applications you can download, this being Android, like Netflix. The other massive player in making the multimedia experience so good is the in-hand feel and of course the screen of both of these devices. Stunning for watching Netflix, even if you just want to watch a YouTube clip. If you have a 2K video and you throw that on here, it really is going to look stupendous. Gaming as well is a joy on these things. The speakers are on the bottom left and right hand side of the Tab S 8.4, so they are very easy to cover up when in landscape. An easy fix for this is to just flip it around or indeed listen to the audio with headphones. Games also perform very well thanks to the octa-core processor on here. The only real limiting factor is the 16 gigabytes of onboard memory, meaning you'll only be able to get about 7 or 8 games on here, or larger games, before you fill it up with all the other stuff you're probably going to throw on there. The processor is a Samsung Exynos 5 Octa 5420 with 3 GB of RAM, and it benchmarks slightly lower than 1080p flagships, but remember, you have that Quad HD display on there. Therefore, performs well in apps and games. However, like we said earlier, you do have a little bit of instability when it comes to the user interface. In a nutshell, therefore, great for multimedia, great for games, and performance in general gets a thumbs up despite occasional user interface stutter. You've got 16 gig internal memory across both Tab S's as well as micro SD expandability. This means an extra 128 gigabytes. What's more, Samsung includes Dropbox storage again, 50 gigabytes as we've come to expect from their premium devices. But there is a caveat. It's gonna set your gallery to automatically download all your Dropbox photos as soon as you throw your credentials in there. You can turn that off, don't worry, and you'll definitely want to do that, because if you're heavy Dropbox users like us, the 16 gig in here will fill up in no time flat. You've also got an infrared blaster on the right hand side if you're holding the Tab S's in portrait. This is going to work well with the Watch On application, which is going to control your television with an electronic program guide that looks very appealing. You can tap a program and it will automatically punch in the right numbers for you. Micro USB connectivity at the base and the 3.5mm headphone jack, not micro USB 3, it is worth noting. 32 gig option would have really been welcome on the Tab S. Hopefully Samsung will release one down the line. You've got a 4900 mAh cell on the Tab S 8.4 and a 7900 mAh cell on the Tab S 10.5. This is going to get you around 12 hours of usage on both tablets. Not quite as good as the iPad counterparts, it has to be said. Still better than most tablets out there. In a nutshell, expect 2 or 3 days of regular use though. That's with the screen off every now and then, and of course with regular connectivity breaks. And so the Samsung Galaxy Tab S range really does redefine the Android tablet experience in a lot of ways. Its design goes toe to toe with iPads, for example. You've also got that stunning Quad HD Super AMOLED screen, and Galaxy Gifts gives you a stack of free stuff out of the box. We weren't totally sold on aspects of the user interface, but they weren't enough to make us think any less, really, of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S in the grand scheme of things. Hopefully you've enjoyed our review. You can jump straight through to any of the sections of our review in the left hand side. Also, if you want more of the same content, click subscribe, and if you did enjoy the video, click that like button. Thanks for watching.